Hi guys, I'm Nerdy John. Welcome to the Extra Nerdy channel where we talk about all things nerd culture. So right now, I really want to talk about Kamen Rider Zeztz because for one, it's not my first Kamen Rider, but it's the first Kamen Rider I am actively watching from week to week because, well, this is the first Kamen Rider from the Japanese end anyway, that's officially available in the States. Now, we've had adaptations here and there. The first one was Masked Rider from Saban, which the less said about that, the better. And then we had the substantially better Kamen Rider Dragon Knight, which aired in 2009. Which I wasn't watching that week to week, but that was the first Kamen Rider I was watching while technically it was on the air. But everything else here and there has just kind of been like, oh, this is on Tubi. Oh, this is on an obscure streaming service. Oh, this is on one of those websites. Sorry for the cringe there. But yeah, so at the time of this recording, episodes 1 through 5 have been released, and I have to say, this is a really awesome series, and I for me anyway, this is easy like top 5 Kamen Rider at the moment. It might be number 1 for me. Who knows? Obviously, we have a lot more episodes to go, but I'm really liking where the series is going. The whole concept of having to be in someone's dream to prevent real life disasters. Obviously, you know, it like I thought of like stuff like Nightmare on Elm Street, but you know, kind of like an inverse of that. Instead of like you're taking down the nightmares. Instead, you are the dream warrior. I know people were a bit skeptical, partly due to the fact that 1, the belt this season, and 2, the design of the Kamen Rider this season, because it's not the first unconventional design that we've had for Kamen Rider, but it's mostly a spandex kind of outfit. I mean, there are little bits and pieces of armor, kind of. But yeah, I personally, I've always liked the design. I know for a lot of people it's grown on them. And then the belt this season isn't worn like a traditional Kamen Rider belt. It's worn like on the chest, which when I'm eventually able to get the Zeztz belt, it is going to be so much easier to cosplay with, because, well, listen, I'm a big old fat American. Okay, those those traditional belts are not made for me. I gotta buy a couple of extra of the extenders. You know what I mean? But yeah, I love the main character so much. Like, he's like cool and suave in his dreams because he's a special agent, and I love the idea because, like, obviously, like, he's watching his world's version of like the 007 films, which are primarily in English. So when he's in the dream, he speaks catchphrases in English, and then he gets his orders in English, and obviously because it's a dream, he understands English. And like when the person who's in charge of like giving him missions talks to him in the real world, he speaks English to him, and then he's like, I don't understand you. I only understand English in my dreams. Which by the way, I love that the main character is such like a goofball. Obviously this is not like the first lighthearted Kamen Rider main protagonist that we've had, but I love the character so far. I love his dynamic with his sister. The detective and his assistant are also really funny of comic relief. I am curious what's gonna happen with them down the road, because like I guess like mini spoilers so far. I'll try to put something up here. They've kind of invaded his little agency that's in his closet. Also, we're going to see who is like the main person giving him his missions, because like we've only seen them in two types of ways. One, in the shadows, and then two, with them controlling the robot version of his bike, because yes, his bike does transform into a robot. Buy the toy. I sorry, I know I'm all over the place when it comes to this. Sorry, I don't make scripts. This is just how I talk. The whole gimmick of this season of capsules, I like. It's not as flashy as previous gimmicks. And I'll be honest, I need to watch Gav. I need to get the previous season still. Zeztz is like the latest season I've been caught up on, minus obviously Zeztz. I loved the belts for those seasons. I love the buckle gimmick. Obviously it's a more simplistic design with the capsules, but honestly, it's growing on me. I like it. In particular, so far, I have liked the forms that they've introduced, because like the basic one is called Impact, and what he's able to do with that is he's basically able, for a short period of time, increase like the mass in his muscles to make him stronger. And so like you get moments where like he's like becomes like not his entire body, but certain body parts become really like buffed out, and then he's able to do like massive damage, and it's awesome. I forget the name for the one, so forgive me. But there's one that like lets him like shape his body into whatever he needs, or like it's sort of like the gum fruit, kind of, sort of, not really, but like to give you an idea, like he was able to like manipulate his leg into like kind of being like a scythe, so that he could kick one of the nightmares. And then a stream is, I think, a pretty interesting form. At first, when I was seeing screenshots of it, I thought it was going to be like a water type of form, because we've seen that before in Kamen Rider. But no, it's based on air, and I think it's really cool. The episode that they introduced it was really cool. I really liked it. The winged form is also really cool. We get lots of cool shots with that. Sorry, I'm gonna put a counter on how many times I say cool throughout this entire video. But yeah, honestly, I'm really liking this. Like I said, top 5 so far, easy. But yeah, this is Nerdy John. If you liked the video, hit that like button, subscribe for more content like this. I do plan on going over more Kamen Rider eventually. This is Nerdy John signing out. Take care.